Welcome to 8020, and today we're going to be discussing two types of clipper over comb blends. We're going to be showing you how to do a high clipper over comb blend, what that looks like, and how you position the comb and how you use your clipper with the comb. And then the other side, we're going to be showing you how to do a low to mid blend and the importance of the positioning of the comb when you're doing these kind of blends, and how you're going to be using the clipper, whether it's being fully closed and fully open. So stay tuned, and we look forward to you enjoying this content. So here we have a skin fade with a number 1.5 going up fairly high on the client's head. He likes to have the blend fairly high. Not every client is like this. Some clients like it to be a little bit lower. Some clients like it to be low, mid, or high. In this case, we like it nice and high. So we've brought up the 1.5 up to here. And now we're going to be doing clipper over comb to blend in the skin fade into the top. This is how I do it, especially when we have a client that kind of his head rounds off right about where we want to do clipper over comb. It's very easy because once you put in the clipper over comb and you go straight up, you immediately create that transition from longer hairs to shorter hairs by going straight up. And you basically break the edge of that line that's right here. And you don't want to dig in like this and cut the hairs out, because then you're going to be pushing that line in a little bit further. So this is what this looks like when you go perpendicular to the head and you go straight up and you cut, and you see how it blends in directly into the longer hairs. Now in this case we haven't cut the top yet, so these are all longer hairs that we're still going to have to cut. But what I like to do is comb all of these hairs over to this side and then start my clipper over comb. If I was to comb his hair all forward and then do clipper over comb, then it's not a true blend, because what's gonna happen is I'm gonna be cutting these hairs here, but I'm not gonna be touching these hairs. So as soon as he goes to comb his hair over this way, these hairs are now gonna hang over the line. So what I always recommend we do is we comb everything over this way, and then we do clipper over comb, so the transition becomes a lot more fluid from the skin fade into the top. And this is what this looks like. Okay, so now if you can tell, that original line is gone, but now we have some sort of a heavy line here. Now there's two ways to get rid of this. You can either use thinning shears and just kind of soften that area in order to make it blend a little bit more. Or what some people like to do is they'll actually just comb it forward like this. And then once it's combed forward, then they will go in and pick out the longer hairs. But what I like to do is, while it's combed this way, I like to open up my clipper, because this clipper, when it's fully open and I'm doing clipper over comb, it almost acts like the thinning shears. And what I'll do is I'll turn it on and I'll take that chunk of hair. So I'll focus in on this area that I want to kind of thin out, and I'll go in and I'll tilt my comb out, and then I'll go in with my clipper. And this softens that hard line. So you see right here how it's a little bit bulky. And that softens it out. And now when we comb it forward, it's all blended in. And so here we've done the clipper over comb, we've blended it. I see that there's still a little bit of a darkness here, so I'm gonna use the same technique I used up top. I'm gonna keep my clipper open, and I'm gonna go over that part again just to make it blend in a little bit better. So there you have it. This is how we do a high blend on a head that kind of curves in right where the line is, in order to make sure that the transition from the skin fade into the top of the hair is nicely blended and as high as the client wants. Again, this is Not the case with every single haircut. This is only kind of a case by case, but you will get these haircuts, and it's important to know how to do these blends when you do get these sort of haircuts, or the clients that ask for a higher blend. So in this clipper over comb scenario, what we got going on is this client, he used to have a comb over in the past, and now he wants to change it up. And so we're gonna go ahead with a kind of a French crop top style, or a French, whatever you guys call it, where it's textured top. We're gonna bring it forward, texturize the front after. But with this style and with his head shape, we wanna make sure that we keep it square without pushing it too far in. And it's very important to remember that these hairs that are over here, they need to remain long. So we cannot comb them down and cut them with the blend. So we wanna make sure that we leave these hairs here long. And when we go ahead and use clipper over comb in order to blend it, now this is a 1.5, and this is fairly long. So the way we're gonna do is we're gonna start slow. So we're gonna go in and take the first line out, and we're gonna blend it this way. And then slowly we're gonna gradually go up while keeping an eye on the length on top and the shape of the blend. We don't want the blend to be rounded, we wanna keep it square. So it's gotta go straight up while maintaining the length on top. So this is how this would look. I always like to go section by section. So I'll take the front section first, and I'll focus on from this point to this point, blending that, and then I'll move on. When you do bigger sections, you can sometimes get lost as to what's been done, what's not, and then things get a bit messy. So take a smaller section, start there, and then work your way around the head. Also, I'm gonna have the clipper fully closed at this point. I'm not gonna open it to create any texture, because I wanna really get rid of this bulk. If you notice here, I'm feathering my comb quite a bit out, because I don't wanna take any of these hairs out. I don't want it to go around it. I wanna keep it square. So I'm making sure that as I'm cutting slowly, I'm making sure that my comb is feathered out quite a bit, and I cut little by little. Once it's cut, I can't put it back on. So I'd rather cut, as I go, than cut too much and not be able to fix it after. See how I'm focusing in on this area? Now I'm gonna open it, and I'm gonna go over that line right over here. And now I'm doing what we call vertical clipper over comb technique. Instead of going like this, I'm going straight up. But the position of the comb remains the same. So I go in, I see what I wanna cut, and then I tilt out and I go in tackling that specific area. Now the line that's right over here, I'm gonna have to fully close my clipper again and just go in, try to position my comb as flush as possible with the hairs, and then go in and get it out. If for whatever reason at points you're not able to get the clipper over comb technique to get rid of that bottom line that's really close to the 1.5, then what I would recommend you do is you put your number 1.5 guard fully open and try to flick it out. but you don't, again, you want to be very careful you're not pushing in that line. So try with the 1.5 fully open, take it out. If that doesn't help, then you can go halfway or fully closed in order to get rid of that line. Okay, so this is the end result using clipper over comb. This is where I would like to be. Any detail work that I have to do, I will be doing with scissor over comb to go into certain areas and use the scissors. Because clipper over comb sometimes can be a little bit tricky when you want to get some details done. So this is where you would want to stop, and then you go in with scissor over comb and you tackle areas like this, a little bit of work over here and here. But you know, you have to always remember that you don't have to finish the whole haircut using one certain technique. You got to know and understand, and with the years and with experience, you start to see where you need to stop and how you need to use different techniques in order to get the style that you want done. In this case, I don't want to push this any higher with the clipper over comb anymore. I want to keep it where it is, and I'm going to go in with the scissor over comb and detail the work in order to get it perfect. But this is how you would keep the blend nice and square. So if you notice now, when I put my comb in and I go all the way up, there's nothing that's going to be sticking out of the comb. But as soon as I took my comb in like this, then everything will stick out. So this is how we make sure that we maintain that square look. So going straight up instead of pushing it in and leaving the weight on the side of the head completed. Thank you for watching today's video, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button so you can stay tuned and stay up to date on all the videos that we're going to be uploading very soon.